Hello, wonderful world. It's Jennifer at Eureka Astrology and Healing, and today we are on video 6 of our moon mindful experiment, exercise, whatever you want to call it. Today, Gemini is in waxing phase, so it's growing, and it's the Gemini moon. This is the first video of the Geminis, one of 12, and we're going to do our first check-in here. So, first thing I want to say is before I get into my thoughts, feelings, and impressions on how I'm experiencing it in the last day and a half, is that today Mercury stationed retrograde. So it is sitting still. And what does that mean? Well, the moon is in Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So the moon is going to be heavily and is heavily affected right now by the Mercury stopping. What does that mean for us? It can mean a lot of different things. And I've done some contemplating on the stationing, and I know that that means Mercury's not moving, and so that could mean information not going forward or backwards or coming in or going out. But part of me wants to think about it a little more deeply as, is it just information just coming in and sitting there, just coming in, and not knowing where to go? I have this actually in my birth chart. I have Mercury stationed, and I'm someone who experiences a lot of information all the time. And I'm wondering if right now people aren't getting a lot of information on all different planes, both in the physical, through media, through communicating with friends and family, and then also maybe even channeling, depending on your placement in your chart. I just think information is coming in. When Mercury is stationing retrograde, it's not going backwards. Everyone may think that it's going backwards in the sky, but that's not what's really happening. It's actually getting closer to the planet. It appears, closer to the Earth, and it appears that it's going backwards. So its energy is actually amplified and intensified. So right now I feel like things are really intense, and words can be a little intense right now. I noticed that yesterday in a meeting that words got a little heated, and it was all right, but you could tell that people didn't really know how to fully communicate their emotions either. And so I'm gonna swing around into what I've been experiencing. And for me, the first thing I noticed, it's kind of an interesting thing, and this is a little bit about body rulership, but so Gemini rules the upper lungs, the bronchioles, this part of the shoulders, arms, the hands, wrists, and I've been noticing I've been holding my breath more, and this is something that I do more so often. I have a lot of air in my chart, and I'm trying to always talk and get things out, and, like that, without going, hey, like take that breath. It's okay. You can pause. You don't have to keep producing and outputting information. And so I've been holding my air more up in the upper chest and allowing it to go into my lower lungs. And so that's the first thing I noticed on a physical note, because not only does the moon rule motions, but it can also rule the body and the physical aspects. And so as we're going through these check-ins, I will dedicate a month to talking solely about when the moon is in what sign and the body rulership and how people can maybe work with that a little bit. So that's the first thing I've noticed. A little bit of restriction in here because I've been trying to output words, communicate verbally more quickly without slowing down. So lots of fast things thinking without stopping and contemplating. And the other thing I've been noticing is that during my yoga meditation, often I eventually stop thinking about things when I do my daily practice. Today, I just kept thinking about different things I wanted to talk about, communicate, express, things I wanted to do, and it never quite shut off through an hour of practice. So that is something that I've noticed, is that my thoughts are definitely getting pushed to the forefront. And so you're going, okay, well, this is about emotions, right? We're talking about the moon here. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about this. The phrase came to my mind, thinking your emotions. Now, that doesn't make any sense, right? But for me, Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is amorphous. It can change. It's a shapeshifter. It's a trickster. It has no gender. It can go wherever it wants. And I feel like that aspect of Hermes really comes in with this moon, is that it's very flexible. This is also a mutable moon, meaning very flexible, and that maybe thoughts can be feelings. I know it's a stretch, but people with the Gemini moon placement in their birth chart I think they understand this, where maybe they're thinking about their feelings. As it is an air sign, thought kind of comes to the forefront. It doesn't mean that you're not feeling. It just means you might have to think about them first to process them, bringing it down into the body, or maybe talk about it, write about it, communicate about it. And so I just keep thinking your feelings. And so it seems removed, and it can be kind of removed from the more watery aspects of feelings. Like, I just need to, have the body feels and just cry or laugh or be angry, whatever it is. It's a process that's a little more indirect, but I think everyone can get to the place of processing it in a more bodily way if that's what they want, or in the emotional way, once they get out that in a communicative way, whether it's writing or talking, as we talked about. So the other things that I wanted to talk about today too were things what can we do with the moon being in Gemini. So I already talked about one, the breathing aspect. A lot of people may find that they are doing shallow breathing, and this is no time for shallow breathing, especially with COVID. We want our lungs to be strong, and shallow breathing over time weakens our lungs. It doesn't make them as strong as they could be. It's like they need that exercise of deep breathing. So taking deep breaths all the way down into your belly, as they say, like you're bringing in here into your chest, and you just slow breathe in and breathe out. There are a lot of other breathing exercises, but if you can take 5 deep breaths every hour to stop, it'll really help you ground and maybe even help you communicate a little bit, getting those ideas out. The other thing you could do, as we talked about, is writing, talking to somebody about how you feel. It's somebody more like a friend. It could be a family member, especially like a sibling, especially because siblings are kind of associated with Gemini and close family members. But just getting it out, it might help you to process it, because what happens is, if an air sign, especially an air sign with the moon in the air sign, if it holds it in, it just rattles around in there, and then more and more thoughts rattle, and then it's going to really be hard to get down to the emotion that's maybe making those thoughts rattle around. So getting it out in a positive way, talking to somebody who can either be just a sounding board, who just can listen, or can offer positive advice or sound advice if that's what you're seeking. And the other thing is thinking about perception, because Gemini rules perception. How are you perceiving things? How am I perceiving things? Gemini wants to take in information, and lots of it. And so are you gorging on information? Is the information quality? Think about it as food. So obviously we're always perceiving the world around us. There's a lot of information coming at us at fast speeds. And sometimes Gemini may not care if it's truthful or not, or rooted or not, grounded, healthy. So as you're taking these things in, maybe do a self-check, like, okay, am I taking in too much? Am I taking in enough? Maybe you've kind of shut down the walls of perceptions and things coming in, so you don't want to take in anything anymore. First, just checking in with that. And then second of all, going, do I want to be listening to this or thinking about this? Or, because sometimes we choose what we're, consuming as information. So checking in, is it healthy? Because it's just like food. Are you taking in a bunch of junk food, or are you taking in things that are nutritious? And you can have a bit of both. This world is not linear. And so you can have a little bit of sweets, right? And the information, if it's entertainment, but just make sure you don't get lost in it. That's a great tip for the Gemini moon. And so there's a lot of different aspects today. And what I can say is that a lot of people may be wanting to do larger things with communication, because Mars is in Sagittarius, but the moon is opposed it, and the moon is more like, I need to take more in before I put my information out or go out in the world with this. So you may be feeling a little more like, I need to take this information in first before I can go out, and a little bit of a battle. It's okay. Just go with the flow, feel it in the moment, because this is what this is all about, being in the moment of the astrology. Not, again, as we talked about, being in the past or the future. Can we use it right here, right now? The other aspect is the moon is going to be squaring Neptune today. So there's going to, taking in potentially illusions, dreams, falsities, being aware of that, because there might be some things out there that are not true. And, Gemini is trying to pull in that information, and Neptune's squaring, going, oh, but here's all these great, things that may not be so rooted and may not be so accurate. and a little more fluff. It doesn't have to be. It could be also like you're trying to go for your dreams, like these ultimate high-end top shelf dreams, and your lower mind might be saying like, well, you don't know enough. You don't know enough yet. So make sure that you don't feel like you're always the student and never the teacher, or don't go for your goals either. And then the moon is also trine Saturn today. So that's a little bit more about, pulling in information for the community and your responsibilities in the community and teaching. So that's a nice aspect. Maybe you can bring what you do know out into your community to create a better world. And those are just some of the aspects, but really focusing in on what can you do in the moment and just be with the moon. And with that, I join you to do this challenge. Be in the moment, if you can, with the moon. And down below, let me know how you're feeling. How are you experiencing this moon? Do you have a Gemini moon in your birth chart? What is that like for you? Or even if you have a Mercury stationed, write about that. I'm very interested to hear people's feedback. I'd like to collect information on that. But with that said, this is Jennifer at Eureka Astrology and Healing. Like, subscribe, comment down below. You can check out my website at eurekaastrology.com. Ciao for now.